This is a Steam Greenlight trailer for Shooter Tactics. Now, I'm going to be upfront with you. The original video, the original Greenlight trailer, you can watch in its entirety on this game's Greenlight page. I've taken the liberty of editing it down a lot. One thing we're going to learn about this game developer in particular is that they don't know when to let a thing go. So they've produced a lot of footage, and most of it's very, very boring. In fact, this news footage right here that you're seeing in the background on the game menu is probably the most interesting point of the game. The game itself, we've looked at worse. There are some funny, noteworthy things going on with it, but the game itself is not particularly noteworthy at all, as we're going to see now. So here we are, here's the gameplay demonstration. As you can see, it's fairly bog standard. It's a first-person shooter that wouldn't look out of place on, say, you know, the Android store. That's kind of what I initially think when I look at this, and it shouldn't come as a surprise because the game is running on Unity and is using stock Unity assets. And we've seen games like that, you know, like Island Light and what have you on Android before. So, not particularly special. The game does not look dreadful. We've certainly covered worse-looking games on here before, but nothing spectacular either. You know, I mean, let's be honest, it looks pretty bad. Visually, it's rather unattractive. Not just in terms of low graphical quality, but in terms of just the art style as well, which, you know, I mean, it's cohesive, unlike a lot of asset flips, but it is... The cohesive theme is dull. That seems to be the overall premise. It's just very dull, generic, jungle-looking pap, really. I realise I should have cut the video down even more than I did, because we've not even come to the first edit yet of the video, and Lord, it's dull. I mean, if you're doing a trailer, if you want to get your game greenlit, I mean, this is another thing we talk about on here. We don't just talk about the qualities of the games on the Best of Steam Greenlight trailers. We want to talk about the quality of the trailers themselves, about how to or how not to sell a game to your audience, and this ain't selling me. I ain't sold. But we're going to cut now to some actual, real gameplay. Here we go. So, some shooting action there. Thirds. Takes cues from Call of Duty with emblems that come up and show you things, but they all seem to be misspelled. I'm assuming that should have said first, and instead it said thirds. But anyway, there's a dude with a flag floating above his head. Thirds again. You'll see that Thirds isn't the only player notification that is... Oh, wait. Poop joke. Now, I don't know what's going on with this dude's hands. I don't know what that stance is supposed to be, like some sort of Nosferatu. I don't know, maybe you are going up against an army of evil communist Nosferatus. I don't know, but there's heat shot anyway. He scored a heat shot with that knife. You know, spelling is... Again, we'll find out spelling is not the developer's strong suit. Which, you know, I'm no grammar Nazi or whatever, but... Again, in a video game, especially a video game that's providing that kind of audio-visual feedback to the player, with the amount of times it's come up on screen, you'd think they'd have caught thirds, at least, before putting it out there in the public eye. I mean, you know, we all make spelling mistakes. I make spelling mistakes. I write reviews constantly, and I don't have a copy editor. I make mistakes. I have to go and correct them. That's fine, but... How did you not see thirds? How did you not catch thirds? I don't know, but God, why did I put so much footage in this? I'm just going to end it here. You've more or less seen what the game has to offer, which is not a lot. Now let's go to the real reason why we're here today. The developer is the story here, because the developer is unique. Let's look at a little brief history of Shooter Tactics, shall we? So this is one of several attempts to get Shooter Tactics through Greenlight. The game's been taken down and put back several times. This is just the latest iteration. The only real difference this time is that the logo that shows on the Shooter Tactics page is now a GIF that flashes up tactical anal insertion every now and then. That seems to be part of the developer's meltdown, because make no mistake, the developer is having a meltdown. Let's see what the developer has said to critics on the actual Greenlight page, people who have left comments. Bear in mind, some of them are relatively offensive if you take offence to offensive statements. So let's have a look at that. So there have been very few people actually commenting on the game, but anyone with anything even slightly negative to say is being written off as a troll and an asshole by the developer, who has no intention of addressing any criticisms about the game. So, when people criticise that the game doesn't look very good, needs better graphics, the developer's response is, Prexaus, try turn up game video quality or get a bigger video card. When other people criticised the game, they got blow it out your bottoms trolls, and this one's particularly zesty, let's face it, you nasty homos don't like it because it don't have cheat protection for regular cheats. Classy. One person said that they didn't think the game was required with so many other shooters, and the developer said, well, would you rather have more games like Sandwich Simulator and Mustache Simulator? Apparently you can only have one or the other. That's probably because if you're a bargain basement developer who knows basic Unity, that's about all you can make. But there are other games out there. I just want the developer to know that. You can do more than shitty simulators and shitty FPSs. I did a whole Jimquisition episode on what Unity can be used for. Maybe try one of those games. But the comment that the developer is most proud of is this one, because they've used this not only in the Steam comment section, but they've done a post about it on the forums. They've actually used it as a game announcement. They're really proud of this statement. Most of these are pathetic, nasty troll cyber bullies whom are swimming in that sea of sexual retardation, and they feed off trying to hurt the vulnerable. Need players around 8 PM Melbourne, Sydney time in Australia and New Zealand. Game is ready for online matches. Download update beta 6 at shootertactics.com. As well as having it out with commenters, this developer has been going after anybody who criticises the game, even YouTubers. One particular YouTuber, JDude330, did a video on this Greenlight game, covered it and its position on Greenlight before I ever saw it. They did that sort of toward the end of last year, and basically, criticised the game, said it didn't look very good. Did get something wrong about Unity. They said that Unity was royalty-free, and then apologised for making a mistake about the cost of using Unity. And after they apologised, the developer still did their own YouTube video. It's about 11-12 minutes long, calling the critic a liar, and again ignoring any of the actual criticism and just hammering on this idea that they're all trolls. Anyone who doesn't like the game is some sort of abuser. I'll produce a little clip of that. I won't subject you to the whole thing, but here's the developer in all their angry glory.
There's nothing wrong with my maps. I just basically wanted those bought maps that I put on there as extras. I bought them because they got a lot of assets in there, and it saved me a lot of time making more than 20 maps to add an extra map on that someone else has made. I've made about 10 different maps of my own and released about 4 or 5 of them, and I've got about another 4 to come that are half finished. And here's this idiot, this little scumbag bastard, got his head in the clouds. Have a look at this. This is where he says Unity Pro. To get Unity is a $200 fee. What a load of shit. It's $75 US per month on a 12-month subscription.
Similarly, a YouTuber called Ark the Dragon did a gameplay video of Shooter Tactics, and again, wasn't particularly complimentary to the project, but that didn't stop the developer from bravely taking to the comments of that video and throwing a complete tantrum there, saying things like, he is right, you are a retard, can't even load a fucking game properly. After watching your 21 min shit video, I'm convinced it would matter if it was Call of Duty. You would still critise it, you are a tosser, get a life. And instead of righticizing the game, and as it is a beta, it's not final copy, and also where is your game you made, can't see it, so if you are so smart, why don't you make a game? this developer is on a warpath. And really is taking it to anybody who has a single negative thing to say about this game. Which is always surprising to me when you make a game like this that's clearly cobbled together from pre-made Unity things, to take such creative pride in something that it didn't seem to have any creativity put into it. I don't know where that pride comes from, but this developer has a lot of it and is spewing it all over the internet to anyone who has anything to say about the game that isn't a compliment, which is a shame because the game doesn't really deserve any compliments because, and at the risk of sounding like one of these trolls, it's rubbish. I'm sorry, but it is, and I say this with the utmost of respect to you and your craft. You made a very generic, rubbishy looking shooter, and nobody is fond of it from the looks of things, and you should probably just spend all of this time you're spending spewing vitriol on the internet. You should probably take that time and use it to actually make the game. In fact, a lot of Greenlight developers would do way better if they took that advice to heart and actually bothered making a good game instead of churning out a shitty one and then getting annoyed at people when they say it's shitty. Get good, as they say. And then shit like this won't happen.